right, I think I'm live. Welcome back, my friends. Welcome back. Let's get back to it. So we were just looking at the last video. We were looking. Oh, about to get wavy. Hold on, I gotta do my little video magic stuff. Ready? Where is it? Oh yes, here it is. Boop. Whoa, what we got there? Okay, I've done this right. I'm in the lower right corner. You're seeing example 2. Let's see, we already did example 1, right? We looked at this beautiful um, monthly budget budget chart. Okay, this is kind of a cash flow analysis on a monthly basis. And actually, as we're going to go through these, I want you to be aware of what's going to happen. Now, it might look a little slightly different for you. I don't want to do this right now. Save this as a draft. I'm not going to post this right now. We're saving that as a draft. Sorry about that. I should have had this ready. But I want you to be aware that, okay, this assignment that you're working on right now has two pieces. It has two pieces. One piece is a Google form, which you're hopefully looking at right now because that's how you found this video. The second piece is this cash flow analysis spreadsheet. So there's going to be an assignment in your class, whether it's advanced algebra or statistic, about cash flow. You're going to click on this, and you're going to see something that looks like, whoops, it won't look like that for you. It'll look like this. This is what you'll see, all right? This is what you'll see. And this is kind of an example. I kind of already did this spreadsheet for you. You'll each get a copy of this spreadsheet. And the important thing I want you to understand about what I've given you here is that there's several sheets in this document. The first sheet is monthly cash flow analysis, right down here, monthly cash flow analysis. It's kind of like an example, right? So I've given you the fixed expenses. I've told you, what the numbers are, and I've calculated here what all these added up are going to be. We're going to get into what this is and what it looks like. I just wanted you to know that this sheet exists and that there are other sheets, right? When we talk about yearly cash flow in a second, you're going to click on this one. And then when you get into the practice ones, here's Laura's monthly, which you will complete some of this stuff here. You'll enter the numbers in, and you'll calculate these over here. This yearly, you're going to do the little spreadsheet examples for these red question marks. And then there's also a frequency budget plan, which you'll complete, and a yearly for Laura, which you'll complete. I just wanted you to be aware, in the Google Classroom, right? In the Google Classroom, there'll be this right here. And then you click on this, which will give you this, and that you can move around with different sheets over here. If you want to be like, well, Mr. Salt, how did you, figure out this number? Well, that's why this sheet is here. This sheet is here so that you can click right here and say, oh, look, in the function line, he wrote equal sign sum. Sum means to add. All right, it's 9 o'clock. That's going to ring 9 times now. Maybe I should just wait. Apologies, you can just skip forward 10 seconds with the beauties of technology, and the digging will be done. It's actually 9 p.m. right now, so I'm doing this late. I want to get this out for you on Monday. This looks like it'll be the last assignment for this unit, maybe the last assignment for this year, right? This will be the June assignment for 2020. If this is 2021 or beyond, it might be something different. Okay. So here, primary employment for this person, their monthly cash flow coming in, their income is $5,600, and you can click right here and see that I had a little formula, right? I had a spreadsheet formula. That's what this is called. I have equal sign. Actually, let me get rid of it. Let me show you how this works. So if I just get rid of it, it goes blank, right? If I could manually add this in, right? I could grab a calculator. I could add these two numbers here and just put them in here. But the beauty of spreadsheets is that it can do a lot of this kind of simple calculations for you. So one way to do this calculation, whenever you want the spreadsheet to make a calculation, you need to put an equal sign. So I'm going to put an equal sign. That tells the spreadsheet, hey, spreadsheet, I want you to calculate something for me, okay? Then you got to put in what's called a formula. Now you can do a function. You could say sum. I got to do all capital letters. Sum means to add all these things up, and it gives me some helpful little advice. Value 1, comma value 2. I'm going to click here. I'm going to click here. I'm going to click here. What I'm telling this computer right now is to add these 3 boxes up. Add these 3 boxes up, please. And that's 6,100. Another way, I could do it more manually, too. I'm going to get rid of this again. I can press equal sign. And I can press parentheses. And I could say what's in here is equal to this plus this plus this. All right, there we go. And lo and behold, it's the exact same number because there's more than one way to parse this line. So I just happen to like the way of doing it like this. Sum, I like to use the functions, and then I would just click on this, hold down the shift key, click them all together, and then I would get something that looks like this, and boom, there's the number. And the beautiful part about this is the reason why we do this in spreadsheet. The power of this tool in front of you is that if you had some other income, like, oh, I worked at the library this month, and they paid me $50. And look at that! It automatically changed the number, right? It automatically changed the number without you having to recalculate. So that way, if you do one of these right, if you change one thing, it'll affect everything else in the spreadsheet that's connected to that thing. So you don't have to recalculate stuff all the time. Once you put the formulas in, once you got this going, all you got to do is make sure the data is accurate, and boom, the numbers are calculated for you. That's the power of the tool. That's why we're doing this. That's the reason for this unit. It's so that you know how to use spreadsheets as a tool to analyze your cash flow, okay? On a monthly basis, as a frequency basis, as a yearly basis. So back to the lesson. Last time we looked at this right here. And this, if it should look familiar because it looks a lot like this right here, right? All right, so this is a monthly spreadsheet for cash flow analysis. And what we're really interested in is this last number here called cash flow. A cash flow of $110. It's a positive number. Tells me that whoever this is right here, this person, who do we call this? This is Dave and Joan. Isn't Dave and Joan lovely? Dave and Joan actually have $110 positive every month. So at the end of the month, they have $110 left over after all these various fixed expenses have been taken away from their monthly income. All right. So we are moving on. And I think this video here explained a lot of that there. And so you're going to answer a question. Now, suppose the cash flow had been on negative 160. What advice might you give to Dave and Joan? So I want you to pause before you answer that question and get some thought. What advice would you give to Dave and Joan? You're pausing the video now. You're thinking about this. You're writing something down. Great. You've unpaused me. You're wonderful. You did what I asked. I really want you to pause me and think and write, because if you just write down what I'm about to say, you haven't really got those gears in your mind active, and this doesn't help you learn as much. All right. So, well, Dave and Joan, maybe you should reduce some of your expenses, right? Maybe you should stop spending so much money on this category, that category. You got to figure that's where the budgeting comes in. Budgets are about values. Budgets are about goals for yourself, about what you want out of life. You have to make decisions about what's important, what's not important. The cash flow analysis is really the computation of, do we have more money, or at the end of the month, do we have a positive cash flow or a negative cash flow? A positive cash flow means we got extra money. Positive cash flow, 2 thumbs up. Negative cash flow, that means you probably had to do some debt. You had to borrow some money from a friend, from a credit card, from a bank, and man, borrowing money, you got to pay the piper eventually, right? That'll catch up with you. So negative cash flow on a monthly basis, not a good thing. Got to change some of them expenses. Here is example 2. The Consumer Credit Counseling Service suggests that transportation expenses be between 6 and 20% of your budget. All right, they're saying that your transportation expenses should be somewhere in between 6% and 20% of your total budget and savings. Your savings should be anywhere between 5 and 9% of your budget. You know what? Though, if you're negative cash flow, you're probably not going to have any savings, right? You're probably going to say, okay, I just need to put every money I can, not borrowing more money, because you're going to pay a lot more in interest on borrowing money than you're ever going to make, by saving it. Using Dave and Joan's cash flow analysis, determine whether they remain within the guidelines for these categories. All right, and here's the solution. Well, Dave and Joan allocated $200 monthly for their car loan payment. They allocated $50 for their car insurance premium and $160 for gasoline. So these are some of their transportation expenses. They had $700 worth of auto-related expenses spread over the course of the year. Rounding up, this is approximately $59 a month. The total transportation expenses budgeted is $469. Since their total monthly income is $6,100, transportation accounts for about 7% of their income. And so here's the calculation of how they figured that out. They took the 469, that's all their monthly total transportation expenses. They divided by 6,100, that's their income. And then they got a number that probably looked like 0.077. Let me do that on my calculator right here. Let's see, 469. Maybe you want to confirm this. Don't trust it. All right. So it's 0.0768. So this is rounded. They rounded this 0.7 up from the hundredth place. So they found that their transportation expenses are about 7% of their budget, which is slightly over the suggested amount. Notice, though, that 6 and 20, it's slightly over the suggested minimum. All right. All right. So, all right. So the budget amount for savings is about 4.9. So they found the amount they're saving with $300. And there's their income. So 300 divided by 300 divided by 6,100. 300 divided by 6,100 gives me 0.0491. All right, that's what I got here. And so they're rounding this. They're just taking that all the rest of the information out of there and just saying, okay, it's 4.9. Remember, so they took this, actually, they multiplied it by 100 to find a percentage. All right, so hopefully we still remember how to do percentages. All right, Dave and Joan want to include a section in their cash flow spreadsheet that will calculate the monthly percentage allocated to certain categories suggested by the Consumer Credit Counseling Service. Write a spreadsheet formula that will calculate the transportation percentage for the month. Okay, so here's where I want you to do a percentage. Oh, and I might have to just, I'm going to have to go into preview here. Sorry, it's going to load a preview. I realize if I don't do the preview thing, it's not going to let me type. And I can also make this a little bit bigger for you too. So there's a couple advantages there. All right, so it asked for a formula. So I have to do a formula. Formulas in a spreadsheet, as you learned a second ago, start out with must be a number. I will have to fix this. I will have to fix this over here. I don't want that to be a number necessarily, do I? I want that to be a spreadsheet formula. That was the point of the question. So I will have to fix that for you. I just want to make sure I can fix it right now for you. Okay. Okay. A regular expression. There we go. I think that fixes it. No, I'm going to make it text. Okay. All right, that should fix it for you. When you load this, it should be fine. For me, it still thinks it's got to be a number. It's going to be equal sign, right? Because whenever you do put remember how I said that whenever you put a function into a spreadsheet, it has to start with an equal sign. That tells the spreadsheet, hey, I want you to calculate something for me, all right? It's going to be equal to, and then we're going to add up all the cells for the transportation. So in this case, what were their transportation costs? The transportation costs were, let's see, I'm looking for it. Don't beat me up too much here. All right, transportation. I've got a car loan. That's going to be B8. Car loan is B8. Auto related is E8. All right. Oh, that's per year though. Ooh, okay. I gotta be careful about this. I got a car loan. I got car insurance. So I'm gonna go B8, B13, and B21. Are you gonna help me remember this? Ooh, I'm gonna struggle remembering this. B8, B13, B21. All right, here we go. I'm trying to remember where was it? Where's the question? There we go. B8, B13, and B21. B21. I'm also going to add fuel in here, or auto-related. I'm going to divide this by 12. So it's going to be E8 divided by 12 to get monthly, plus E8 divided by 12. There you go. And that's a formula. All right. And we wanted, for instance, we could have used the sum command. We used the equal sign. What did it say? It said we want to calculate a transportation percentage. So this is percentage, And to get a percentage now, what do I need to do? This is going to give me, it's going to add up all these things, right? What this is going to do so far, it's going to add up all those numbers together. That's good. I needed this as a percentage of my income. So remember how before in the solution here, they took the small number of like the 469, divided it by 6,100. 6,100 is their monthly income, so we need to do that here. I'm going to do another parentheses, and I'm going to close another parentheses inside. Okay. And the reason why I'm doing this, it won't let me. Well, that's a bummer. It won't. I'm going to have to refresh this page. That is total bummer. Leave the page. Okay, let's see if it'll let me. There we go. Now it's doing it. Now it's letting me see it. Okay. Why did I need the second set of parentheses? Because I've added all my stuff up. But now I need to divide it by income. I need to divide it by the income. And what was the income? I need to go back up here. And the income was B5. B5. So divided by, notice I use this little backslash here symbol to be divided by B5. There I go. I'm going to take the small number, add up all those little figures for monthly auto expenses, add them all up, divide that by the total income, and this should give me a number which is actually in a percentage. You'll use the format of the spreadsheet to give you a percentage. That's the kind of thing when I say a spreadsheet formula, that's what I want to see. All right. All right. So, remember, a budget is a personalized plan. A budget is about your values. One person's budget doesn't necessarily work for another person. So you kind of have to make decisions on, how you want to spend your money, how you want to make your money. Make all sorts of decisions that way. There's an interesting way. Some people do this, kind of the old-fashioned, non-technological way people used to budget is they would have called an envelope accounting system. Literally have envelopes, and one envelope would be like, say, mortgage. And once you got paid, you would put a certain amount of money in that mortgage envelope. And then another envelope you'd have would say, car loan. You put a certain amount of money in that car loan envelope once you got paid. And then so you just take all your money and put them in different envelopes. And then at certain times of the month, you take out those envelopes and you actually have the money to pay your car loan in that envelope, and you could pay that bill. Another way people do it, instead of envelopes, they use jars, right? I one time went to a guy's house, and he just had jars in his kitchen, and they were just all his, they were like his envelopes. That's where he just budgeted his money. He got paid in cash. So these days, we usually do spreadsheets, one, because technology is powerful, and can calculate things wonderfully. And two, because a lot of our money isn't in cash, it's in ones and zeros in the bank, right? It's just a number and a bank, and we don't actually handle quite as much physical cash as we used to handle. So it's kind of, if you don't have the cash right on your hand, you can't put it in a jar or envelope to really do the budget for yourself. So, envelope accounting systems. About how that worked. If you wanted to eat out a couple times a month, and if you figured I want to eat out twice a month, and it costs me $25 for me just to go out by myself, eat out twice a month. Well, then you budget $50 for the month for your dining out, or maybe you want to go out once a month with someone else, and it's going to cost $50. So it's once a month for $50. So the more complex your budget gets, the more complex the more the spreadsheet really helps. And the more complex your budget is, the more the envelope system is really just confusing. If you've only got 4 or 5 bills to pay per month and you deal mostly in cash, hey, envelope system could work for you. If you got lots of bills, if you got lots of things going in and out, maybe you want to set up a budget like we're doing here. All right, example 3. Example 3, create a budget plan for Dave and Joan, that lovely couple, using their cash flow analysis from example 1. So a frequency budget plan. Let me show you what that looks like. This is a frequency budget plan right here. That's what it looks like, right? So in a frequency budget plan, you have amounts. So for instance, primary employment. This is every 2 weeks, Dave and Joan from their primary employment get $2,800. the biweekly paycheck. And notice the frequency here is 24. Why would it be 24? Think about that for a minute. Why do they put down 24 as the frequency? The frequency is how many times something happened, right? That's the frequency. So what they're saying here, why 24? Because they're getting paid every 2 weeks. And how many weeks are there in a year? How many weeks are there in a year? 52, right? 52. So there's 24 pay periods then, right? Or 26. Maybe they're probably taking 2 weeks of 2 weeks of vacation off, taking 2 periods off. So they're going to get 24 paychecks per year. 2,800 times the 24 gives them an annual salary for their primary employment of $67,200. And apparently they have some kind of secondary employment where once a month they get paid $500. That over the course of a year becomes $6,000. You add these two numbers together and you get $73,200. That's their total yearly income. And then you have situations like this. You have food that looks like the frequency here is 52. There's 52 weeks in a year. So they're paying about $185 per week for groceries, right? 185 times 52, that's 9,620. This is where a spreadsheet comes in really handy. Instead of having to actually calculate each individual thing here, what you can do is just say equal sign this times that, and you use a little asterisk on your keyboard for a multiplication symbol, and then it'll automatically calculate this. So if you change how much your food budget is, it automatically changes this, and then it automatically changes everything else connected to it. Yeah, so these are the frequencies. These are how many times they're happening per year, and these are the amounts, right? So it looks like entertainment, they're paying about $46 for entertainment over the course of the year. That's a weekly payment, it looks like. Total weekly expenses, $303. Looks like their total weekly expenses are $15,000. Monthly expenses, so these are the bills they're paying monthly. Mortgage, utilities, car loan, education loan of varying amounts. Their mortgage is $2,400 a month, paid once a month, 12 times a year. This times this equals this, right? Their utilities are about $110 a month times 12 months in a year equals this. All right, so that's what's going on here. And there are these other things. There are some things like you don't necessarily pay once a month. Maybe like life insurance here. Life insurance they're paying quarterly, 4 times a year. Tuition they're paying semi-annually, twice a year. Gifts happen twice a year, birthday and Christmas and things like this. Taxes they pay twice a year. It looks like they're self-employed probably. So that's what a frequency budget plan looks like. You're going to complete one of these in that wonderful spreadsheet for Laura. You're going to do Laura's frequency budget plan later. And there's Laura's frequency budget plan. And there it is, right? You're going to complete this on your own pretty soon. Once we get through all these. But I wanted you to see what it looks like. This is the idea. Let's move on. Okay. So the frequency budget shown above states that Dave and Joan have an annual surplus of $1,284. How does this relate to the monthly positive cash flow that was computed in example 1? Again, how does the $1,284 compute to that like $110 monthly positive cash flow they had going on in the first example? Pause me, and think about this question and write down an answer, and then we'll go over it. Great. You unpause me, we're back, and you thought about this, right? Hopefully you read this little description I had going on over here. Well, I'm guessing your $110 monthly cash flow bonus, or positive cash flow, where was that? There's Dave and Joan. And there's their monthly positive cash flow, 110 times 12 is 1,320. Is that what the number we were looking at a second ago? Oh, pretty darn close, but not totally close. It was pretty close. There must be something going on here. I'm guessing there are discrepancies between certain kinds of budget items, and but it's close enough for what we're doing here. I got 1,320. They're saying 1,284. I'm guessing the difference is that when you calculate something monthly, there are 12 months in a year, but sometimes you miss some of these. The frequency budget might be getting some of this more granularity into the actual spacing of time, and I'm guessing that's where the discrepancy comes in. I have to look carefully to see how these things depart. But as long as you understand that the monthly compared to this frequency of a year has a connection of, well, the monthly cash flow times 12 is going to be approximately what the yearly should be, right? All right. Example 4. Construct a year-long expense budget spreadsheet using cash flow data from Dave and Joan. So here is what a, whoopsie daisy, did I not provide you the picture? Did I not provide you the picture? Well, there should be a yearly. My apologies. When you see this, there will be a yearly. I can't, can I pause this thing? Let me check to see my magic here. No, it doesn't look like I can pause what I'm doing. There will be a yearly picture here for you to look at. I happen to have a simulation here. I made one over here, and I'm going to need to zoom out so you can see what this looks like. There we go. There we go. There we go. All right, I can zoom in one. There we go. All right. This is what a yearly cash flow analysis would look like, right? Here's your income. Here's your fixed expenses. Here's your variable expenses. And then here are each month of the year, right? Each month of the year. And your, income might stay pretty consistent every month. And then rent might stay the same every month. All your fixed expenses are the kind of expenses that don't change much month to month. So all these numbers are going to be the same. But for like groceries might be less or more depending on the month. Fuel might be less or more. Maybe you bicycle in the summer, so you're not using your car quite as much. Electricity, if you maybe use more electricity in the wintertime to heat, or maybe your natural gas will be more expensive in the wintertime because you're heating your home. So there's various variable expenses you can have, and you'll use this yearly chart would add all these up, right? These little red question marks are there because I want you to do this, and while we're here, let me show you how to do this. All right, so here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to click on this little red question mark because I want it to go away, and I'm going to make it go away. I'm going to press equal sign because the equal sign tells the spreadsheet I want you to calculate something, and I want this total income for January to calculate all of these cells. So I'm going to say parentheses this plus this plus this. Now, that was not the most elegant way of doing it. I would like to use sum. I'm trying to get you this idea of what a formula looks like, right? You saw me kind of do that. I kind of clicked on that. I had pressed the equals. Oh, I'll just do another one. There's your example. Just added up everything here, right? There's only one number there, so that's the only thing that added up. Let me do it here as well. Apologize for the coughing. Equal sign. All right, and I want this to. I don't want to have to like do this plus this plus this plus this all. That's all. I don't want that. It's gonna be cumbersome for me. So I'm gonna use this wonderful thing called sum. Sum is a function. A function will tell the. I will click on that. I'm gonna hold down the Shift key, and it selects all of those for me. If you don't want to hold on the Shift key and do that, you can just put a colon. Right? You can put a colon between the two you want. And I'm gonna close this out. Right? This is a little bit more elegant. This is really nice and tidy, right? I didn't have to do plus, 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 click, 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 click. I can just do it all at once. Boom, enter. Look at that. It added everything in this column up for me, all automatically. And then I'm going to do it here. I'm going to put the equal sign. Oh, no, I want that sum again. That's nicer. All right. I now need to tell it what things to add up for me. I'm holding down Shift and I click right here. It selected all these for me. Ooh, you know what? No, I want to include this too. I want to include that other, just in case I put some data in there. That looks nicer. I'm going to close it. Press Enter. It added all those up. All right. So now that I've got my income for January, my fixed expenses for January, and my total variable expenses for January, I am now going to figure out my total expenses. Well, what's my total expenses? It's my variable plus my fixed expenses. My variable expenses plus my fixed expenses. What I'm going to do here is I'm going to say, all right, it's going to be equal to my fixed plus, I put plus sign in there, plus that. Notice how it is plus that. Close the parentheses, press enter. It added those two numbers together. That's all it did right now. Added this number with that number. And now I want to know my cash flow. I want to know my cash flow. My cash flow is going to be my income. My income. Hopefully my income is greater than my total expenses. Oh, I goofed up. I clicked on my income. And now what do I need? I need a minus sign, right? I need to find the difference. Oh, I forgot to put a parentheses in here. Let me put a parentheses in there. My income is B6. So there's B6 right there. My total expenses is B47. I don't have to click on it. I could just type B47 too. I can do it that way. And then hopefully, when I press enter, oh, I have a negative number. What does that tell me? That for January, I'm down 13 bucks. January, I do not have positive cash flow for January here. That is not an encouraging sign. I hope this budget's okay. That's what I want you to do for the rest of these little question marks, is to create a little function rule and fill all these in. Actually, a lot easier than you might think. Okay, especially when you get going, you can start to just copy and paste things. So I'll leave you. So like for instance, if I wanted to do February right now, I could copy, I could paste, and at first I'd be worried. I'd be worried that it just copied this over here. But no, look, notice that it didn't do that. Actually, by me pressing this, Control C for copy, Control V for paste, it actually transcribed all my B's into C's. When I double click on this, watch what happens. It highlights that says I'm adding up all of these things. When I click on this one, it's telling me I added up all those things. So that's the way I can see what the spreadsheet's doing, kind of visually. When I double click on this, oh look, it shows me all the things that's being added together. And I can very easily Control C, Control V, and now I've added up all those. Pretty simple, right? Control C, Control V, and now I've got a different number. Why is this number different? Because my variable expenses month to month aren't always the same, right? Which means if I do Control C here, Control V here, oh, that's a slightly different number than than January. February is a slightly different number. And now let me do it one more time. Control C, Control V. Oh, I got a positive $11. All right, you're gonna it's not too hard. Don't make it too hard. All right, I'm trying to make this easy for you. You're really just copying and pasting, but I want you to understand how this works. I want you to understand how our spreadsheet works. Okay, sorry about that. That's the 9:30 bell. Take this opportunity to cough a bit. I can't wait for this, whatever this is, to be over. Allergies or something just tickling my lungs. All right. And so what did we just looked at? We looked at the year-long expense budget. So, oh yeah, so then you're going to tell me which one of if you completed it or you haven't finished yet. All right. You're going to get your own copy of that yearly expense. So let's talk about net worth now. Net worth. Net worth is really so it's a combination of your debt to total assets, right? So let's do some vocab here. I think I skipped the vocab last time. I'm not sure why. All right. We have here your assets, all right? Your assets. It's everything you own. That's your assets. It's all your property, all your worldly goods, assets, right? What are your liabilities? Your liabilities are all your debts and all the things where you owe money, all right? So assets are everything you own. Liabilities is everything you owe. And then your net worth is the difference between your assets and your liabilities. If, for instance, you have $10 million in assets, sounds pretty good, huh? What if you have $11 million in liabilities? That's not good. That's not good at all. I would not take that deal. Do not take that deal. Because you got $1 million more liabilities than you got assets. That's not good. That means I owe $1 million. I don't want to be in that position. Okay? So that's a negative net worth of $1 million. However, having assets of, say, $20,000 doesn't sound like much, but assets of zero, oh, okay, I'll take that deal, right? I'd rather have positive assets than negative assets, right? Yeah. I'd rather have a positive net worth than a negative net worth. Let's talk about this. Cash flow. Cash flow is the money that goes in and out of a budget within a fixed period of time. I talked about that in one of the videos. Cash flow analysis. This is like what we're doing in spreadsheets, which details how the money comes in and how the money's going out. Okay. We talked about the envelope accounting system before. Prorate. You ever heard that word? If someone prorates a bill for you, or prorates a loan. Um, the prorating is the process of dividing expenses proportionally as if they were monthly expenses. So if you had a loan that you pay once a year, you don't want to like think about that like a yearly payment. Like what if the loan is like you owe $5,000 every July 1st? You think about that? You need to pay the bank $5,000 every July 1st for the next 5 years. Well, I don't know about you, but just coming up with $5,000 can be hard for a lot of folk. So what you do is you don't think about that $5,000 as one payment in July 1st. What you do, you take 5,000, you divide by 12, and you tell yourself, I need to be saving $417 every month. Make sure I got that $5,000 by July 1st. Right? I can't be messing around here. I don't want to be caught with my pants down when that July 1st rolls around and be owing $5,000. I want to be putting away money at a rate of about 400. I just took 5,000 divided by 12 and found it was about $417. I want to be saving about $417 every month. So that makes it more manageable, right? So then you're like, okay, I got to get my hustle on and try to figure out a way to make $416 extra dollars, $17 every month, or I need to find a way to spend $417 less every month in order to be able to save that. Okay. All right. So we talked about assets. Year-long expense budget plan. We talked about that. Frequency budget plan. I think we talked about that. If not, we're going to. Debt reduction plan. We will talk about that soon. It's basically a plan of like how do you get that debt paid off, because debt is no fun. Debt is borrowing from the future. That's the way you should really look at it. That is like, all right, if will me 10 years from now be happy that I owe money on something I'm about to spend money on right now? So if that's an education, then the answer might be yes, right? It might be worth spending 40 grand on your education in order to be able to make lots of money for the rest of your lifetime, right? The difference between a high school diploma and a 4-year degree, and the income difference there is a big deal if you go into the right major. So going to nursing, oh my gosh, high school diploma is good, but man, having that 4-year RN, whew, that's there's some money to be made there. Okay, so investing in 40 grand to get that nursing degree, ooh, that'll pay off in spades. That is worth it. Getting a modest car right now so you can go to work. You might want to borrow money for that. That is worth it because that gets you to work. That gets it so you can get paid, right? Buying yourself a house, maybe it might be worth it right now to borrow from the future in order to get a house now, because if you don't get that house, if you're in an apartment, you're not building equity. Whereas when you own a house, you're gaining equity. So there are good reasons why you might want to get into debt sometimes, because it's those times when 10 years from now, 20 years from now, you're like, I'm glad I borrowed that money then, so I can be where I am right now. The other way of looking at this is, what if you kind of screw yourself over in the future? You can do that with debt, right? If you borrow too much now on stuff you don't need, stuff that doesn't help you out 10 years from now, well then your future self 10 years from now can be like, I was an idiot for borrowing all that money. That made no sense. That did not have a payoff for me now. I'm still trying to pay off that money that I blew on this thing, which is not helping me now 10 years from now, 10 years later. All right? That's a debt reduction plan. All right, and debt to income ratio. We'll get into debt to income ratio. It's about getting a ratio between what you got, your debt and your income. Well, we'll go over it. All right. Where are we? I already forgot where we are. I'm pretty sure we did that. Yes, we did that, of course. So we did the year-long expense thing. Yes, we did all that. About net worth. That's why we went to the vocab, because I saw net worth and wanted to go over the vocab. All right, example 5. We're almost done with this part of the instruction. Example 5. Liam Brown is single. He's in his mid-20s, and he owns a condo in the big city. He calculated the following assets and liabilities. So here are his assets. Here are the things that oh, geez, Liam. Wow, he has a $580,000 condo. Okay, all right. Liam lives in a different world than me. Okay, current value of Liam's car is 17 grand. Okay, that's modest. I mean, like, it's way more than my car, but it's not hard to get a car that's that this level. All right, balance in his checking account $980. Okay, Liam, I think you can do a little better than that. Let's see, balance in all his savings account. Oh, he's got never mind. He's got 22,000 saved, 500 saved away in a savings account. Liam's doing fine. He doesn't need my financial advice. Current balance is retirement account 2,400. He's only in his mid 20s, so he's doing good here. Current value of his computer 2,900. Man, I hope he works in computers. That's a lot of money to spend on a computer. Current value of his collector bass guitar 6,700. He lives in a different world than me. Jeez. Current value of stocks and bonds. He's got 18,300. Liam Brown, you are a trust fund baby. Oh my gosh. That is taking care of you, Liam. All right. Liabilities. Remaining balance owed on his home mortgage. He still owes 380,000 though. Remember that. He still owes 380,000. This. But it might sound pretty. Well, we're about to get in those liabilities. It might sound great to be Liam for a second, but then when you start looking at his liabilities, you might change your mind. So he's okay. He still owes. That's actually pretty good, right? He actually has got $200,000 this house paid off, and he's in his mid 20s. Never mind. I don't feel sorry for Liam at all. He's doing all right. Apologize for that. Remaining balance owed on student loans. He owes $51,000 on student loans. Well, shoot, he could sell that bass guitar and put it in that right now. Combined credit card debt, $1,600. Yeah, he's fine. All right, calculate Liam's net worth. So net worth is the difference between his assets and liabilities. So we add up all his assets, and we find that all his assets total up to be $673,180. We add up all his liabilities. We find that when we add up all his liabilities, we find that comes to $432,600. And we find the difference. We take this minus that. All right, this minus that is $240,580. Liam's current net worth is $240,580. This is a $34,800 increase in net worth from the previous year. This indicates that Liam is improving Liam's financial well-being. I don't like Liam already, but we're moving on. So what can I want you to answer the question? What can Liam do to improve his net worth trend? He could give me some money, right? That would improve his. Okay, anyway. Try to be a financial advisor here and give Liam some advice on how he can improve his net worth trend. Maybe he wants to get rid of some of his liabilities. Yeah. All right. So debt reduction planning. All right. So ways to lower your debt. Ways to lower your debt. When you want to pay off debt, you want to pay off the highest interest debt first. That's usually your credit card. Okay. Please pay off your credit card. Do yourself that favor. Don't make the mistake so many people make and run up that credit card bill. You will not. What you want today is not worth that level of interest. All right. The you 10 years from now will not thank you very much for giving them a big credit card payment. Pay more than the minimum. That credit card company, when they tell you, it's a $15 minimum, that minimum is the minimum. You could pay that minimum for 100 years and not pay off that credit card. That minimum they're giving you, that's like the minimum they want to see to make sure. They don't want you to pay off your credit card. Keep that in mind. Your credit card company does not want you to pay off your credit card. Because every time you don't pay off your credit card, it gets a slice of you. And usually it's like 25 or 30% slice of you. And that's a lot of interest per year. It doesn't look like much because they take it out of you monthly. You take that 30%, they divide it by 12, and they take that little slice out of you. But that really hurts. Look for ways to cut your costs. Man, if you have a hobby or something that's costing a lot of money and you're in a lot of debt and it's hurting you, you might want to think of cutting some things out, maybe for a couple months, maybe for a year or two. Like I like to go fishing. I spend some money, a couple $100 on fishing. If I was seriously in debt, I would have to be like, well, you know what? Maybe this year I don't go fishing so much. Maybe this year I cut back on things I like in order to try to pay off some of this stuff. use an online debt management calculator, right? There are lots of online debt management tools to help you figure out how to pay off your debt, and will tell you how long it'll calculate exactly how long it'll take you to pay off your debt. Will it take you 5 years, 6 years, 7 years, and 3 months? That kind of stuff. Make a list of what you owe, face your debt, make a list, and keep it handy. And because this helps making a list and just really being aware of what you owe, it gives you that psychological preparedness to say when you before whipping out that credit card, maybe I ought not. All right, and just really look at what you're spending on that credit card and see if it do I really need this? I mean, if you're buying groceries and trying to put food on the table, you got to do what you got to do. But try to make sure that yourself 5 years from now is happy with your decisions today. Is all I'm gonna say. You do you. All right, example 6 here. Tom's monthly liabilities and assets are shown in this table here. So here's Tom's monthly liabilities and assets. He's got a liability of a mortgage payment of $2,300 a month. He's got a student loan payment of $750, a minimum credit card payment, and a car loan payment. He's got a gross salary of $7,800 per month. Hot damn, Tom. Hook me up. Stock dividends of $380, interest of $120, okay? So let's find Tom's debt to interest ratio, especially that ratio as a percent. All right, so we're going to first find his assets, right? We're just going to add up all his assets right here, right? All his assets. Add them all up, $8,300 monthly assets. Find his total liabilities. Add up all his liabilities, $3,400. All right, his debt to income ratio, debt divided by income, is going to be 3,400 divided by 8,300, and that gives this number of 0.405, which when we turn this into a percentage by multiplying it by 100, gives us an approximate debt-income ratio of 40.5%, which is high. So ideally, Tom wouldn't have debt that is 40% of his income. Okay. Tom anticipates that next year his car and student loans will have been paid off, and that he'll receive a 10% salary increase. If everything else remains the same, recalculate his debt to income ratio. You know what? I'm gonna let you do this on your own. I think you can handle that. You're just gonna be the same problem, except his salary goes up by 10%. So add 10% to this, and it's 945. Okay. And his car and student loans paid off. So his car and student loans don't count. So just the mortgage payment, minimum credit card. This increases 10%. It's going to be you take the debt divided by the income is your percentage. All right. Okay, this is where you're going to take a break because you just this is probably going to be like an hour-long video probably. Apologize for that. The rest is up to you, I think. I'm available by email. I'm doing those Zoom meetings daily, Monday through Friday. This is one of those major assignments. It's worth something like 140 points, I think. Where did I have it here? This thing's worth 135 points. So those extra credits that you're doing, those extra credit questions are 10 points each. So you're going to be moving back and forth between the Google form and this here, and you're going to be going to different little sheets going on for Laura's monthly cash flow. Her yearly cash flow is here, and then that's her frequency budget plan, and then there's her yearly, and you're going to be popping back and forth between these and answering them based on Laura's information right here. That's most of what you got to do. All right. Remember, this is a big assignment. I do not expect you to complete this in one day. If school was in session, if things were back to where normal, we would do this over the course of 5 class days. I would do what I just did today. We would go through the examples, and then you'd be on your own for the rest of these, and you would ask questions. You'd raise your hand. I'd help you out. And the idea is that, by you doing these more independently, it's going to actually activate those gears in your mind, and it's going to actually get you thinking and processing. And if this feels hard, it might be to get started. But once you do get the feel for these things, it does get easier. It really does. The spreadsheets aren't too difficult. But listen, if you can go to a job interview and say, yeah, I know how to use Google Sheets and Microsoft Excel to calculate a spreadsheet for, say, the cash flow of a business, you just got hired. All right? Depending on the job, that's a pretty impressive skill that you could have just here learning math class and advanced algebra or statistics. Here's some statistics questions right here. Actually, find the average they're paid per month for water. Apologize for all the coughing. I hope you're good. Remember, you can contact me via email. We can get together on the Zoom meetings from 12 to 1. I'm here for you. Reach out to me. I hope you're good. I hope you're safe. I hope you're healthy. Hope you and your family are doing all right. Hopefully, we see each other soon.